Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you two really cool RGB color split effects. One that looks a little something like this, and as you can tell, this one is going to be great for if you're shooting streetwear or you're shooting smoke grenade photography, just like this picture here. And the other one looks a little something like this. It's much more subdued, great for portraits in that similar style. It's still a stylized look, but it is much more subdued and lets you retain all the original color from the original image. So before we fire up Photoshop and jump into it, for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Mason. I make videos covering photography and videography on this channel. Everything from tutorials like this all the way through to the business and how to build your client base. If that does sound like the sort of thing you're into, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every single week and I'd love to have you here. We're gonna get into this now, so fire up Photoshop and let's get started. So as you can see over in Photoshop, I've got my image files open. Now I should add, I'm not using photos that I've taken because I didn't really have anything that fits the style. So I grabbed both of these photos from a website called Unsplash. If you don't know about Unsplash, it's a great website for getting royalty-free images. There's some really talented people over there uploading their images for you to use for free. If you are working on projects and you do need photos in a pinch, Unsplash is without a doubt the best place to go for those photos. I'll leave the links to both of these images down in the description of this video so you can go and check out and give credit to the people that actually took the photos. So now that that's out of the way, we're gonna start with the more heavily stylized black and white image. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do when your image opens in Photoshop is come up to Image, hit Adjustments, and then hit Black and White. Now, this is going to convert your image over to black and white, but it does give you the option to control the luminosity of the colors in your image once they're converted to black and white. So as an example, to show you what I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and darken down the red. I know that this smoke grenade is pink in my original image, so if I grab this slider and drag it down, it just darkens up all of those red areas of the image. So once you're happy with the black and white version of your image, go ahead and hit OK. Then we're going to go ahead and duplicate this background layer. To do that, you can either click and drag to the new layer icon, or just hit Control and J, or Command and J if you're on a Mac, and that's going to generate a new layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename this one to red. Then I'm going to do the same again, hit Command J and make a new one and call it cyan. Go ahead and double click on our first layer. Now you can see here we have the advanced blending options for this layer, and it gives us the option to eliminate certain channels. Now the one I've clicked on is the red, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the blue and green channels. Now the first thing you've probably noticed is that nothing's changed. And the reason for that is because we've got the eye icon turned on the background layer and the cyan layer, which we haven't made any changes to yet. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the eye on the background layer, and if I turn off the eye on the cyan layer, you'll see the entire image is now red. But we don't want the entire image to be red. We want to go ahead and turn back on the cyan layer, double click as before, and this time we're going to turn off the red channel. We're going to leave the green and the blue because the green and the blue together make cyan. Hit OK, and that's going to give us our cyan layer. This is when the magic happens. All you need to do is using either the arrow keys or using your mouse is to drag the layer to the left or to the right. Now you can tweak this. Obviously you can go really quite extreme with it, or you can go not quite so extreme with it. But when you turn on your background layer, it fills in these edges and you just end up with the RGB split version of your image. As I said, once you're happy with the way it looks, go ahead and just turn your background layer back on, and that'll get rid of these bars down the side here. But for the first effect, that is pretty much all there is to creating this really heavily stylized RGB split effect. It's really easy. And you can actually do the same thing with text, which I will show you quickly now. So using the text tool, just go ahead and type out the text that you want to use. I'm just gonna go ahead and write the word smoke. And as before, all you need to do is go into the first layer and get rid of the green and blue channels. And in the second layer, just go ahead and get rid of the red channel. Once you've done that, you can go and split the two apart. And as you can see, you've got a RGB color split for your text. Moving on to the second RGB split effect, it is much more subtle, but it is slightly more difficult to create, but it lets you retain all the colors in your image. To create this effect, you want to go ahead and duplicate the background layer as before. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control J. I'm going to do that 4 times. I'm just going to go ahead and rename these layers to red, green, blue, and original. Now, the original layer, you want to go ahead and drop the opacity to around 50%, and the blue, green, and red layers. If you click on blue and hold shift and click on red, you want to go ahead and change all of these layers to screen. Now you'll notice that brightens up your image quite a lot, but don't worry because we are going to fix that at the end. Don't panic. Repeating the steps from last time, we're going to go into each layer and eliminate the channels that we don't need. So in the red layer, we're going to go ahead and knock out the green and blue channels. Then in the green layer, we can go ahead and take out the red and the blue. And then in the blue layer, we can take out the green and the red. We're pretty much most of the way there. All we need to do now is the actual split. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit because this one will be slightly harder to see, but the best place to see it is around the glasses here and in her hair. If I go ahead and I move the blue layer over, you can see from the frame just here that it is moving across, and you can see the edge of it just coming in on her skin here and on her glasses. So I'm going to go quite extreme so you guys can see it. And then with the green layer, we'll go ahead and bring it up a bit. And then again, with the red layer, we'll go the other way. Now, if we zoom out, you can see that we've got a much, much softer image than we had before. If I go ahead and turn off these color layers, that's our original image, and that's our RGB split image. It kind of makes it much softer, and as I say, you do notice the detail around kind of the edges of her hair and the glasses, and it's quite a cool effect. As I mentioned, we do have the issue now where the original image is actually much darker than the image we have now, but there is an easy way to fix that. First and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold down shift and click and drag all of these layers to the group, and I'm going to call this group RGB split. There's no real reason to need to do this, but it does make everything a little bit easier when I'm showing you guys the difference between the two versions of the image. The easy way to make this as dark as the original image is just to add a curves layer. So I'm going to go ahead and click create a new curves adjustment layer. If you can't see these icons, you might be on learn or you might be on libraries or styles. So just go ahead and click on adjustments, or if you want to, you can just click down here and click curves. Now it's a nice easy one. I know sometimes curves can be really, really daunting, but all we're going to be doing this time is grabbing it right here in the middle and just bringing it down until it slightly closer matches to our original image, which I would say that's a pretty good approximation. Now the last thing that we need to do, if I zoom in here, you can see we've got a kind of a banding of red and green, and then if I go to the other side, we've got a band of blue. Now the easiest way to fix this is to go ahead and select all of our layers, and holding down the Alt key, just slowly expand until those bands are gone. So right about there. But that's pretty much how you create the more subtle RGB color split effect. It does kind of give this edge to portraits. You can tell something's a little bit different from a normal portrait, but it does take a little while to figure out what it is. And it's an effect that I really like. All right, guys, that is it for this video. If you did like it, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, hit the like button just down there. As I mentioned, if you are into photo video and you like what I do on this channel, please consider subscribing because I'd love to have you as part of the community. If you do use this effect anywhere on any portraits, on Instagram or Twitter, be sure to tag me. I'm at _Mason Summers on both of those platforms. You should go and follow me over there as well. Take it easy, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.